After edging Pakistan in a final over thriller, India hammered Hong Kong and how. Now they have made it to the Super Four. And we have with us a rich panel of experts joining us on India.com and Cricket Country. Let me just introduce them to you. We have Preeti Dahiya, who is a correspondent from Z News. She was in Dubai some time back covering the matches. Now she's here. And then we have Jaideep Ghosh. He's a senior sports journalist. We also have Achin Gupta, who is a KKR social media person, and he's looking after the entire team of social media. So let's just get started. There have been two matches. India has won both, but still there are concerns. Can we just start with Preeti over here? Preeti, Rohit Sharma has been getting starts, but he's not converting them into big ones. Is that a concern, considering he's a big white ball player for the country and there is a World Cup coming up next?
Yes, Ankit, you are right. I think you have pointed the first concern very correctly. I am also concerned a bit about Rohit's fitness because having seen him in net practice, I really think that he has a long way to cover when he considers himself to be absolutely, fit. You compare him to someone like Virat Kohli. I understand that every person reacts differently to fitness regime. They all go through the same sort of drills. I do have concerns about that. And obviously, him not getting those big knocks, despite being known as a specialist for this format. Obviously, he's the one who has become the first batsman to score more than 3,500 runs in T20 internationals. Nothing takes that away from Rohit Sharma. So, definitely, Rohit is one concern. I also have concerns related to KL Rahul. I am not sure where is he headed. I also have concerns related to the team management's thinking in terms of what they are looking ahead when they do experiments like bringing in Dinesh Karthik in the match against India, match against Pakistan. Then Rishabh Pant comes in along with Dinesh Karthik. What sort of combination are we moving towards? I do have my
It is
doubts
a
over
little all
this.
over the place, right, Preeti?
Yes, absolutely. It is. It is.
Do
What
you
is the
agree with
messaging that's
that,
coming out of the
Jaideep?
management?
Would you like to add to that?
I'm sorry.
Jaideep, would you like to add to that? Things are a little all
Yeah,
over the place.
yeah, totally. Because the thing is, see, one thing that we heard I mean, when we were doing reporting, we used to hear Mansoor Ali Khan Patodi always said that a team is always very cohesive so long as it's winning. Now the problem here is that we are winning, but are we really winning as convincingly as we should? I mean, as Preeti was saying, Rohit Sharma's fitness has always been a question mark. I mean, yeah, agreed that physically he might not be his constitution is not the same as like somebody like a Hardik Pandya or a Virat Kohli. But yes, and then again you have a situation where you have both your openers struggling, which is not a good sign at all. Because KL Rahul, I mean, forget the opening part of it. Against the spinners also, I mean, even against Hong Kong, I mean, we saw the left arm spinner was bothering both him and Virat Kohli on a pitch where it was an okay pitch. It was not it was not a square turner. It was not like something that is going to be some batter's nightmare. There you are having trouble. You had trouble against the Pakistani left arm spinner Mohammad Nawaz. You gave him away three wickets, which we have no business giving him. And then you have to face on consecutive days Pakistan and Afghanistan in the Super Fours, including Rashid Khan and the rest of the spinners. It's not going to be easy. And the batting, again the experiments. If you're going to play, is Rishabh Pant in your plans in the World Cup T20? If he is, then what is Dinesh Karthik doing in the 11? A. B. If he is going to be played in a as a replacement, then why is he sitting in the dugout? He should be batting. I mean, what's the point otherwise? And you have a situation. Okay, fine. Surya Kumar Yadav had an excellent inning, but the point doesn't take away from the fact that the only guy who came into that playing 11 didn't get to bat. I mean, from the previous match amongst the top batters. So where is the match experience? You're going for better teams. Hong Kong was just, we know and everybody knows that Hong Kong was in the group so that both India and Pakistan go through to the Super Four. So let's not kid ourselves that situation was sorted out. But these issues, and then again, the death overs, you have Avesh Khan, I think, went for 53 runs in 4 overs against Hong Kong. Can you imagine what the rest are going to do to him if he is continued with? And I mean, is this your best option? Are these your best
I
11?
would
Are
like to
these your
ask you,
best?
you see, Achint, I would like to ask you, KL Rahul is making a comeback into the side, and he has not been among the runs. So, will this affect when it comes to selection during the World Cup? Because there are quite a number of openers still in the fray. There is a Ishan Kishan who's waiting in the wings. So, do you think that is going to affect KL Rahul's chances of making the T20 side if he does not get among the runs in this tournament?
See, you have to remember that KL Rahul had a phenomenal IPL. He scored 2 centuries in the IPL and he had 450 odd plus runs. So it's not like he is not the man in the form. I mean, he was showing great bit of form for Lucknow Super Giants, and I mean, obviously the injury and then the COVID hampered him a bit. But the class that he is, probably the team manager wants to give him an extended rope. But at the same point of time, I mean, if you remember, even in the IPL and in his earlier years in the IPL and Indian team, he's not somebody who has scored at 150 strike rate. So that is something which is at times important in T20 cricket, especially for an opener. So that would be kept into consideration whenever the selectors meet to pick the World Cup squad. But at the same point of time, I don't think they will not. There would be a huge debate on him for sure. But I have a feeling that he will still make the squad because the eventually the World Cup would be played in Australia. The conditions are very different, and we have seen him play really well in those conditions on those bouncy surfaces. So I think all of that would be kept into consideration whenever the selectors pick the squad for the World Cup.
Preeti, you see, Gautam Gambhir made a statement where he said that on current form, Surya Kumar Yadav should be playing three, Kohli should be playing four. Do you agree with that? Because we saw yesterday Surya Kumar Yadav came in because at that point in time, Kohli was struggling to get those boundaries, and the free flowing Kohli that we are used to seeing was not on display yesterday. So, do you think Surya Kumar
Ankit,
Yadav could be promoted?
my problem is that we, as cricket journalists, a lot of former cricketers, as cricket experts sitting in commentary box, do throw a lot of brilliant ideas. And these ideas cannot be rejected outrightly because they also come with a lot of experience and a lot of mind that these former cricketers have, having played and represented India at the highest level. In this team, who is listening to us? Every time you ask a complicated question or a question related to somebody's observation in the commentary box to the Indian captain in the press conference, press room, they say that this is outside noise. We block outside noise. They are only listening to the noise within the gang, which is deciding on the final combination and the people that they are taking with them to any tournament in the world, whether it's bilateral, trilateral series or ICC events or now the Asian Cricket Council event. Are they open to suggestions? Are they open to these experiments, which makes them which makes them come out of their comfort zone? I suspect they are not ready to do that. Now, Achint is talking about classy players in this squad. Of course, we have many classy players in this squad, and they have proved themselves over the years. There is no question about it. And the bare name of them in India's playing 11 gives goosebumps to the opposition. There is no doubt about it. But when it comes to form in a particular tournament, is that not important? I agree. KL did very well in the IPL, but after that, he had injury. And then, how much of a long rope are we going to give him to prove himself? And it's not just the case of a KL Rahul. I have also been very vocal in trying to understand how much of a long rope are we going to give Virat Kohli. Is his half century against Hong Kong is good enough? A lot of people are already saying, oh, the lion roars back, the king is back, the legend is back. I'm sorry, I don't belong to that gang. I absolutely want to appreciate these legends, the greatest of all times, based on the basis of their current form, what they are giving to us in terms of the trophies that the country collects in these events. Are they giving us that? I'm sorry, I'm not too satisfied, and I have my doubts about it. And the suggestions that you said, whether it comes from a Gautam Gambhir, whether it comes from a Kapil Dev, whether it comes from across the border from some legends, these guys are not listening. They are going to do their own thing.
Jaideep, isn't it a little confusing? Like, ideally you should have played a Rishabh Pant if Pant is in your scheme of things against Pakistan and then do the Ravindra Jadeja experiment against Hong Kong. What is your opinion on that? Is
I am
everything a little, topsy-turvy over here, even in the minds of the management?
I am totally with Preeti on this one because, see, problem is that irrespective of what is said, what is thought of, what is suggested, the Indian 15 will have the same names that you've seen over the maybe the last 3 years. I mean, look at the this difference that we are having. To 2021, we lost by 10 wickets to Pakistan. Ye ho jayega, wo ho jayega. We'll change this, we'll change that. What has happened? The same guys are playing more or less. So eventually, what will happen is that when you have the World Cup coming across, all these guys will play. All of them will be included in the squad. You know why? The reason here is that because our fan base, our Indian fan base, can be a very fickle set of people. It's in the millions, and they are one radical corner or the other radical corner. So if you take these guys and do well, well and good. If you take these guys, don't take these guys, and then you fail, there will be a hell to pay for the board and the rest and the captain and everybody else. But yes, I agree. The people that you are going to use, the people that you are going to eventually use in the World Cup now and maybe even the year after, they are the ones who need to be played regularly. Is Dinesh Karthik in your scheme of things? I don't know. I mean, I thought Rishabh Pant was number one through and through in all formats. So what happened? Suddenly, he's not even in the playing 11. I found it very surprising, very honestly.
Very.
It's not like that we have not gone in with two wicket keepers in a playing 11. But then again, the point is, why are you blocking that one spot? What is the reason? I mean, is there any kind of major change it's going to make? Because look at it this way, the kind of batting lineup you have, if your number 6 or 7 has to come and score runs, that means your top 5 have failed dramatically. They've failed and there is no time to recover. So why do you need a guy who's going to be a finisher? You have Hardik Pandya as a finisher. You have Surya Kumar Yadav, who's a finisher from ball one. So what else do you need? I mean, if you need more, you've got Jadeja, you've got everybody. Yeah. Now the thing is that if you have so many players who can go and score at a rapid rate towards the end of the innings, then why do you need a Karthik? Conversely, if you need Karthik, then why is Rishabh Pant in the mix? And if Rishabh Pant is your preferred player, why is he not playing in the first 11? Lot of questions. And then you have the question of our bowlers in Avesh Khan, we have just discussed. Both the medium pacers, barring Bhuvneshwar Kumar, against Hong Kong, they struggled. So this is the combination you have with you, that spin bowling, that hesitancy that we saw from both Virat Kohli and KL Rahul. So in a mix, it's quite an unhealthy, scene right now. When all looks good till you're winning, one match you lose and everything will just fall apart.
Achint, now that Jaideep is talking about pacers, don't you find it a little surprising that, with Bumrah and Harshal Patel not in the scheme of things, Mohammad Shami and Umesh Yadav are not even being considered? Isn't it surprising?
See,
He
as
had
far
a
as
good
I know,
IPL, Achint.
yeah, I mean, especially Umesh, because he plays for us, and I've seen him, especially with the new ball, the kind of inroads that he was making, and that makes a lot of difference. And he's somebody, if you look at it, I mean, he does well in Australia. If you remember the 2015 World Cup, he was India's highest wicket taker in that World Cup. And the way the fitness that he has shown in this year's IPL was phenomenal. I saw him in Inside Out, and the kind of time that he would spend in the gym was pretty good. And then eventually working with Bharat Arun, who is our bowling coach, he was doing pretty well. So I was a little surprised that he's not been considered yet. But perhaps, I mean, there is a lot of tendency to go with the pacers who have probably done well in the IPL in the death overs. So there is, I mean, people tend to think that you need players who can really deliver the knockout punch at the end. And in the absence of Bumrah and Harshal, I mean, they expected Avesh to do that, which he pretty much did in last two IPLs a little bit. So I think that was the expectation, but I would still feel that Umesh should be in the mix of things because of the ability to actually give
Get
you
those
early
early
wickets
wickets.
in the power play, which is very important.
I'll tell you something, Ankit. When Avesh featured in the match against Pakistan, we were sitting in the press box with a lot of Pakistani journalists as well, and they really had a smirk on their face when they said that, "Is this your best bet in Bumrah's absence?" Honestly, everybody was a little concerned about India's selection for that big game, and obviously taking Avesh along with you, you are competing with a country which is known for its pacers, right? And then what are you taking to compete against them? The same people that beat you by 10 wickets in the last time that you faced each other. Are these your best bowlers? Obviously, Bhuvi is doing fantastic and his experience comes in handy no matter where he goes. Hardik really saved the day for us because of his bowling capability. Jadeja really saved the day for us But where is that second pacer that we are supposed to be relying on? Arshdeep is so young. You have taken Avesh with you. Was he really the first choice in this list? Who made him the first choice? These things need transparency. Nobody is answering, sadly.
Preeti, you're talking about the bowling attack of India. What is this? Is this there is this curious case of Ashwin? You see, he's there in the squad, and if you have him in your scheme of things for the World Cup, why not play him against Hong Kong? Now you're not even playing him against Hong Kong. What is he doing?
There are many curious cases. Ankit, I'm afraid there is a curious case of Rishabh Pant now. There is a
Oh
curious
yes,
case of Ashwin now. There are many curious cases that we have to sort out. And I am afraid the point that Jaideep was making earlier that, all is well till the time you are winning matches. One bad loss and things will go bad for you. But this should have happened the time we lost to Pakistan in the last T20 World Cup.
True.
Jaideep, don't
Absolutely.
you think that we should have brought about those radical changes right at that point? And we should have given
Absolutely.
ourselves
See,
these 10 months to bring out a cohesive unit which has seen those radical changes. These are the same people who got us that embarrassing loss, yeah? They're back in the thick of the
totally,
things.
totally.
What's happening?
See, now you see a funny thing. We have on a given time, if you recall, during the England Ireland series, there were, I think, three India teams playing at the same time. I mean,
Yes.
India A B C E F G H. I mean, the alphabet is going out of fashion now. Uh, you have 22 players playing. You have another, let's say, 7 8 players in the reserves who are sitting there, and you can't find an ideal combination out of 22 without the same old names. I mean, it's a little strange, and then you're again the choices are such. It comes to Indian cricket has unfortunately one major problem which we have also witnessed from our younger days. That a lot of players play on reputation for at least 5 years.
At least, minimum.
Easy, yeah.
Yeah.
So if Virat Kohli has done well in say 2000, then he'll play till 2005. If he has done well in 2010, he'll play till 2015 onwards, so on and so forth. That also applies to the other players. Also, at the same time, we have this mysterious case of Avesh Khan, which I think we've spoken enough about.
extremely
I somehow
mysterious.
don't see, yeah, because off the top of my head, I can think of 5 other medium pacers who can be as good
Absolutely.
and better. So, why him? Why not the rest? And if you have Deepak Chahar, if he's fit, why is he not in the 11? I mean,
8 months back,
it's
he
a
was your
board, yeah, right?
specialist T20 bowler.
Exactly. I mean,
Most
this is BCCI.
expensive
They
player,
can
I
change.
think, in IPL also. IPL
Absolutely,
auctions
Exactly,
also.
and
15
the
crores or something like
board
that.
can practically change the entire 15 if they want. I mean, it's not like somebody's going to argue with them. So the point is, why are
Exactly.
you not debuting him? Or what are you waiting for? You waiting for one bad loss? I mean, what's that going to change? Because we had that bad loss, nothing changed. Like PT was saying, work here. That we have the same players playing. You look at that scorecard and this scorecard, maybe one or two names are the guys who didn't bat. That was it. I mean, you look
Hmm.
at the rest of the lineup, it's pretty much the same. So the more things change in Indian cricket, the more the stays the same. That is one that rule that we had understood long time ago, and there is no logic. There is no experiment. I mean, there was a. I mean, you guys wouldn't have seen. We've seen the good old days when the board secretary used to come for a press conference to answer questions regarding team selection. Then they realized that the questions were very difficult, so they decided to do away with this whole process altogether. Now you get a
No,
release
but
on your mail.
now the board secretary may not
Ah,
be coming, Jaideep, but
yeah.
the kind of players that you are sending to press conference. When Ravindra Jadeja was
Hmm.
asked about not taking Rishabh Pant in the squad and going ahead with
Yeah, he
Dinesh
says
Karthik, was it a decision because of the injury or was it asking Rishabh Pant to sit out? He said, "ये question मेरे
hmm.
syllabus से बाहर है." Why are you
Syllabus se
sending
baar hai.
someone
Right.
who is not authorized to answer that? Isn't it the most basic question that people will ask? You've made one big change in playing 11 and you are not
Hmm.
answering that question. This is evasive
Yes, true, absolutely.
attitude. So I think
Right,
these
Yeah,
we've
are
got
the
because
a
all
couple.
because
things.
Right, just a minute. We have a couple of fan questions. Can we quickly have that on the screen, and then we can just proceed. Okay, so this is Sajal Patra. His question is: the bowling left a lot to be desired. Ashwin for Avesh. What do you guys reckon? I think can somebody just reiterate what we already discussed? Preeti, why don't you do it?
Honestly, Sajal, I think purely on the basis of experience and form, who's taking these calls is beyond my understanding. Avesh is one player who doesn't bring with him, Jaideep, correct me if I'm wrong, legacy or form. Or the awe factor that, oh my god, you've got this youngster who's going to kill it on the field and
right, right,
threaten the opposition. So it is
yeah,
very difficult for me as a journalist to understand what really got him in that playing 11. As far as Ashwin is concerned, in Ashwin, between Ashwin and Chahal, they go with UV, Yuzi. So in that sense, Ashwin is always with the team. Ashwin is gaining a lot of what do we say, travel miles in his
Yeah, miles.
portfolio.
Yeah,
But
correct.
what else is he gaining and giving to us? I am very doubtful. I don't know.
Can we quickly have the next question? Okay, this is Ajal again. India will play Pakistan on Sunday. How about Huda for Rahul? Gives you one more bowling option. Achint, would you like to take that?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a good suggestion from the current form. But see, you got to remember that India will probably have 9 games before we go into the World Cup. So eventually, eventually, it is about trying out all options. Especially, I mean, if Huda has done well in the last few months, so it is important to give him an opportunity, because eventually it is the game against Pakistan or these high pressure games that will tell you whether he's ready to play an ICC knockout game. See, that is where India's biggest problem is. In the last few years, we have not really gone beyond the knockout stages, the semi-finals, the finals, the quarterfinals. So eventually, because it's T20 format, you can talk a lot about the quality of pacers, quality of the skill set that a Rishabh Pant has or a DK has. But eventually, you have to see who is the person who will give you that match-winning 2 ball 10 runs. Who has the capability to do that? So, I mean, if right now with 9 games remaining, you have to try that out. You have to try all your options out before you select. And the ICC cutoff is about a month before the first game. So, and Australia has already announced the squad. So eventually, I mean, in next 3 games, we will probably have to be in a position to decide on the 15 that we want in the World Cup. And that would then you would have to mix and match and play them a lot more in the 6 games against Australia and South Africa. So, I mean, I am all in for Huda to come in place of Rahul. I mean, Rahul has got 2 opportunities, but now you actually need somebody to, even if that doesn't come off, you still need to take that gamble considering the bigger picture, which is the World Cup.
Right, right, right. Isn't it a little too late, Achint, to maybe sideline Rahul and then play Huda with the World Cup round the corner?
See, it's never too late. I mean, see, that is the beauty of
And
T20
why
cricket.
not Ishan Kishan? Because he's a left-hander, will give you that balance at the top.
You want 3 wicket keepers now? I mean, you want Rishabh Pant in, you want Ishan Kishan in, you
I
already have
really don't know
DK
what
in.
is the case with Karthik and why did they actually play him.
I mean, see, for Karthik, you'll have to see. I mean, I know you said that there is Jadeja, there is Hardik Pandya, there is, Surya Kumar Yadav, who's a born finisher, which is good. But I can tell you from T20 experience, the number of finishers that you need in a T20 setup can be innumerable. I mean, at one point of time in KKR, there was a Morgan, there was a DK, there was a Russell, and we would play all 3, because eventually, I mean, who will give you those 2 ball 10? There are so many times in a T20 game that you would reach that position. That impact innings is important, and DK actually shown quite a number of times in the IPL for RCB and also for India afterwards. And wasn't he the man who actually did that Nidahas wonder in
Right,
2018?
right,
So,
right.
I mean, see, the capability is there. And I know he's been in and out, and obviously we know that he may be at the wrong side of the age, but the 2 World Cups are in 1 year's time. Why are we worrying about the age? Eventually, he could be the man who can make that impact, and you have to back those players.
No, but
I mean,
Achint, that is the problem here. See, no one is against DK making a comeback at this age, or featuring in playing 11. What we want to understand is, are we still in the experiment stage, just a month and a half before we hit the T20 World Cup? Because these experiments have gone for very long, and last minute experiments, what sort of result are you expecting to get from that? And then if DK is going to be your game finisher and wicket keeper, then please tell us and clarify and be very sure that Rishabh Pant has had his run. Now we want to give him a chance to go back to domestic cricket, prove himself, and then make a comeback to national side. ये ट्रेडिशन जो है ना कि अरे सबको साथ लेके चलेंगे, इसके लिए भी जगह है, उसके लिए भी जगह है, that is the most confusing part.
see, I'll
This
tell
is, I
you
think, a
how
problem
team
you have
manage.
when you
I'll
have
tell you how team management
so
thinks.
many players.
And this is Rahul Dravid we are talking about. See, I'll tell you how you want to think. See, eventually you are backing DK to do the job for you, but then you want a plan B as well. I mean, what is your plan B? I mean, it's not. I mean, anybody can get injured at any point of time in a warm up. We have seen so many things, And when you talk about experiments, see, the experiments have been going on in Indian cricket. Jaideep will tell you from donkey's years. I mean, you can take 2003, 2007, 2011, all World Cups. There are Rohit Sharma did not play 2011 World Cup. I mean, we were all shocked. Why was he not part of the team? But then there was half of us which said no, they're probably fine. I mean, we ended up winning the World Cup. So see, experiments will always happen. There are no sure shot.
It's all good till you're winning. That's the point.
Yeah, it's all good till you're winning. In fact, you have to eventually keep finding ways to win. I mean, it may be Pakistan on next Sunday. It could be the final again of the Asia Cup. But you have to see what are the strategies that are working for you. Whether the important thing of whether you are capitalizing enough on the power play with the ball and with the bat is happening. Whether you are doing enough with the ball in the death overs. I mean, good thing is that there is a Surya Kumar Yadav who will come and hit 4 sixes in the final over, which is fine. But at least then, like you mentioned, whether are we doing enough with the ball in the death overs? So see, all of those cases, more than the individuals, it is about cases and how whoever you are backing, you need to see whether how this person can still do the job. So that is how probably team management thinks, and a little bit that I know of Rahul Dravid, I'm sure he is thinking from that perspective as well.
The BCCI can afford to, send 15 guys to Australia and reserve another 7-8 guys in New Zealand or somewhere where they can fly them across whenever they want. Nothing is impossible. Anything can happen in Indian cricket.
So thank you, Preeti, Jaideep and Achint for joining us on this session on India.com and Cricket Country and sharing your insights as to what has already happened and what could happen. So thank you so much. Fans, please stay tuned to India.com Cricket Country for all the latest across sports. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ankit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.